Good morning, Winterhaven, and welcome to the State of the State, County, and City. My name is Katie Worthington Decker, President and CEO of the Greater Winterhaven Chamber of Commerce, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to today's event. I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Our presenting sponsor is Bank of Central Florida, and they will also serve as our MCs for today's event. I'd also like to recognize our supporting sponsor, 610 LLC, for their continued investment in the Winterhaven community, in our downtown core, and always pushing us to take it to the next level. I'd also like to recognize Tampa Electric Company. They are an integral part of this event today, as well as the economic development of our community.
There are those who dwell in the past and those who dream of the future. And then there are those who live in the present, who pull from their experience to challenge the status quo, who navigate the waters of "it's always been done this way," those who launch their ideas from imagination to reality. Your business lives in the present. You know where you want to go. We know how to get you there.
Welcome to the virtual stage, Bo Boyd, Vice President and Commercial Lender with Bank of Central Florida, to introduce our next speakers. Bo?
Thank you, Katie. Appreciate you having us on the call this morning. Thank you, Commissioner Santiago, County Manager Beasley, for your continued support of the county and for getting the municipalities together and doing all the great work you're doing. As Katie said, I'm Bo Boyd, Vice President of Commercial Banking in downtown Winterhaven. I'm a lifelong Polk Countyan and have been engaged in volunteer leadership for many nonprofits in East Polk. I'm a proud graduate of Leadership Winterhaven Class 39. And in my role here at the bank, I ensure that my clients have capital and resources that they need to be successful in their businesses. Perhaps one of the greatest strengths in Winterhaven community is having a pro-business, smart growth, data-driven city government. And it is my pleasure this morning to introduce our panel of city presenters. City Manager Mike Herr, Public Safety Director, Chief Charlie Bird, Director of Economic Opportunity and Community Investments, Eric Labbe, Smart City Officer, Hiep Nguyen, and Assistant City Manager T. Michael Stavres. City Manager Herr, it's all yours.
Yeah, Bo, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Certainly a pleasure to appear before you today. I want to thank Katie Worthington Decker, our President and CEO of the Winterhaven Chamber, for organizing this event today and to invite us. Certainly want to say good morning to Mayor Dantzler, Mayor Pro Tem Birdsong, Commissioner Mercer, Commissioner Powell, and Commissioner Yates. A shout out to Commissioner Santiago. Thank you very much, representing District 4 and of course countywide, but the very insightful comments today from Commissioner Santiago. Say good morning to my good friend, Bill Beasley, our county manager. His presentation, I think he hit it out of the park. Before I get into the role of our diversity and inclusivity values in our city, I'd like to put something out there that Bill talked about today, which I think is extremely challenging. And I'm not saying that this would be easy, but some bold thinking for addressing growth. If you think about it today, we have the TPO organization, which consists of elected officials from all cities, medium-sized, large-sized, small-sized, and the Board of County Commissioners. They deal with transportation issues in our county. And we have the Polk Regional Water Cooperative, which has representation from all cities, as well as the county utilities. Now, the missing link would be, what if you had a county-wide planning commission that would dovetail the role of the TPO. And so now you're creating a unified approach to growth with respect to city, county. Not saying it's easy, but I'm saying that sometimes we might have to quit doing the easy and go for the bold. So having said that, I'm sure I'll be running out of town here pretty quickly. But thanks for joining us. Back in August of 2019, excuse me, I came to the City Commission and I asked the City Commission to consider creating a position that we call in city government our Director of Diversity and Inclusivity. And the reason that I did that was twofold. One, I felt like we needed to have more diverse leadership around as part of our leadership team. And as you take a look at the employees across the board, I felt like there needed to be more diversity, more African American, more Hispanic, more American Indian, more women being part of our leadership team, and also working in the city of Winterhaven. I think that research has shown us, and we put together a lot of research here when we started getting into exploring the diversity and inclusivity values. Research tells us that diverse groups are better at problem solving, they're more creative, make less errors, are better able to view problems from a variety of perspectives. And that's very important. What I realized is that in city government, on many occasions, that our leadership team, including myself, we were viewing problems from our own perspective, but in many instances, we may not have been putting ourselves in the shoes of the people that we need to have a better relationship with, which would be, generally people of color. And so when I walk into the northeastern part of our city, it's difficult for me to put myself in the shoes of African Americans. And so I felt like that we needed to have a strong leader at the table with us. And that's why we wanted to create the position of diversity and inclusivity, and we hired Christine Samuel. So the diversity and inclusivity, our position here works very closely with our department heads to determine the degree of diversity and inclusion within each of our working units and develop improvement strategies. Christine, of course, works with city employees, leadership, and community stakeholders to establish equity as a shared and operating principle, promotes diversity and foster an inclusive environment. And we're starting to develop a very inclusive environment in city government. We have created an employee diversity and inclusion team. It's an internal team that really is a good cross-section of all of our employees. The role of the internal employee diversity and inclusivity team is to recommend policies that promote diversity, fostering an inclusive environment where employees feel a sense of belonging. You can have diversity. You can have diversity, which is a mixture of different people with different perspectives, but you may not be inclusive. So we have to create a framework. We wanted to create a framework in which we were being inclusive, inviting the women, African Americans, et cetera, to the table. And so this is a good snapshot. This is our employee diversity team right here. And of course, you can see that we have African American, we have Caucasian men, and as well as women. These folks hold significant positions in city government. And so we're meeting monthly to begin our strategies for achieving diversity and inclusivity in our city government. Next, please. We're looking at best practices for recruitment, training, hiring, and career development. So recruitment, we're currently looking at how we recruit and where we recruit and the effectiveness of the job announcement. So everything is on the table. We're evaluating how we've done business in the past, recognizing that if we want to demonstrate more inclusiveness, then we have to start with recruitment and promotion from within. Training, ongoing, very important. Hiring, when we form interview teams, those interview teams are going to be more diverse. With respect to career development, opportunities for training, upward mobility will be made available to diverse employees. Next, please. This is the banner program that leaders in our city team created. We went to the city commission and our banner program. This was developed by our public works director, Michael Carnavale, the Christine Samuel, our diversity and inclusivity director, and Marissa Barnes, our our marketing coordinator in city government. And the banner program, we're celebrating Black History Month. And this celebration, the traditional MLK parade has been canceled because of the COVID impact, but we decided that we needed to recognize in a more formal way our Black History Month in our city. And so we have placed banners of distinction in downtown Winterhaven along the MLK parade route, First Street North and MLK Boulevard to highlight historic Black American heroes and the city's core values of integrity, financial stewardship, inclusive, being visionaries, and providing exceptional service. We're planning on having a strategic thinking retreat with our city commission on April 1st to April 2nd. As you can tell, we're pretty crazy about the Advent Fieldhouse and Conference Center because I think all of us today have that as our backdrop, except the public safety bird. The one topic that we've presented to the City Commission for their consideration is to discuss developing a new City Hall campus. I'm not going to get into details on that today. I will say that we have a feasibility project underway to outline several alternatives and to give us some cost estimates and to come up with a financing plan for some concepts. As you know, we have flat out outgrown our space. And so I think it's time that we take a look at whether or not this is a worthwhile project. So new space is a consideration. When we say campus, we definitely want the 3rd Street to be a complete street so we can have more connectivity, so we can have bicyclists using 3rd Street in a safe way, more connectivity for walking and celebrating. So that's going to be on the table for discussion. Conceivably, we could raise City Hall Annex, and that could be a public-private partnership where we have apartments in the 3rd floor, we have private sector offices on the 2nd floor, and on the 1st floor would be retail. So that's something that we're going to be discussing. We're going to present and discuss a new 5-year public safety plan. And that discussion will be led by Public Safety Director Byrd and Deputy Fire Chief David Knowles. This will talk about trends with respect to volume of calls, trends with respect to growth, and where we think we may need additional stations in the future for fire service, as well as police services, but not necessarily a new station. We're going to take a look at manpower in terms of the future based on growth trends. We need a multi-year affordable housing plan to be developed and adopted by the City Commission. Our practices in the past have served us well, but we need to be more comprehensive now. And so we want to talk to the City Commission about the possibilities of doing that. Pay is always a topic of concern to any city manager, to city commissions, and to our employees. So we're going to be discussing some options about a pay plan for city employees, which would be different than the across the board increase. The growth is going to be extremely important. So it's been many, many years, 5, 6 years, maybe 15 years for an impact fee study having been done to take a look at the connection fees in our city, and also to take a look at the rate structure and where do we see ourselves moving in the future, and how do we finance the challenges presented by growth in water supply. And then number 6, really most important, are the additional items the City Commission would like to speak about. So I believe next we have a video, or do we go to Chief Bird? We have the video. Okay. This is a video, the sights and sounds of city government this past year.
I am pleased by just the simple little things of life. And I promise if you take the time, you won't be looking for too long before you find this little secret of mine. It's a hello from a friend, or a smile from a child, or the way someone will greet you when you've been gone a while. It's a kiss from your lover, or a hug from your mother, just the smell of fresh air, or when help comes from another. It is generosity, or just a kind philosophy, encouragement to keep on going when enthusiasm's slowing. It's a walk into the forest, or a swim into the sea. I don't need it complicated, it's the simple things for me. The wonderful, the beautiful things that are around, round. There is so much to say, yeah, so much to give. So have a hope for the future and expect that things will come as you live. It's about a hello from a friend, or a smile from a child, or the way someone will greet you when you've been gone a while. It's a kiss from your lover, or a hug from your mother, just the smell of fresh air, or when help comes from another. It is generosity, or just a kind philosophy, encouragement to keep on going when enthusiasm's slowing. It's a walk into the forest, or a swim into the sea. I don't need it complicated, it's the simple things for me.
My name's Charlie Bird. I'm the Public Safety Director, and I have the honor and privilege of leading the police and fire and public safety of the city of Winterhaven. And what I want to talk to you about today is the Winterhaven Public Safety Community Advisory Committee. And before I get into it, I want to say, as it goes through, this is not a reactionary project. This is a project that we've been working on for a while. And we look at it from the perspective of that you're going to hear a lot of common threads of all the previous speakers as well, but that we do not do things We don't want to continue to do things the way we've always done it. Status quo is not acceptable going forward, because we have to be progressive in the way we're thinking with our community. So we're proud of the fact that we've built a positive and maintain a positive relationship with our community. We're jealous of that. The entire public safety employee team takes pride in the fact that we are defensive of that. And that's extremely important going forward for public safety. So one of the things that we look for to develop that relationship is this tool, this Public Safety Community Advisory Committee. It's to enhance the relationship with our community and further strengthen the relationship that we already have with them. And what it does is it gives a tool for feedback to be brought back and forth. Okay, so the community through this committee is able to bring forth concerns. They're able to review and look at the police department, the fire department for policies, the reason that we exist, the reason that we do things. That's a question that we always ask, is why do we do things? Why do we exist? And it's because we're to protect life, we protect property, and we enhance quality of life. This is one of those things a tool that can help us do that. It is one thing that we're doing is looking at how to prevent problems before they occur. Problem solving is a great skill, but I would submit to you that problem prevention is even better. And that's where this committee, this pipeline to be able to communicate back and forth with our community is going to enhance that ability. It allows for the continuing improvement of quality of life. It opens discussions between the police department and the community on incidents, why we do things, like I've said, procedures, and even training, looking at training, and to have a different set of eyes that can look at us and say, okay, why do you do the training that you do like this? Why do we do the things that we do like this? And then we can provide that feedback. The value is that feedback. Whenever we're tasked by this committee of answering a question, or they're asking a question, that feedback has to be given back to them. Again, it opens up the transparency and what we're trying to facilitate with the relationships and build on the relationships with our community already. So what does this look like? We're looking at it as and by the way, this was done with the assistance of community members. So we didn't just build this. This isn't the police department that just built, or the fire department that built this. It's 9, it's 9 committee members. There will be an application process that takes place that we'll be posting. We hope to get this thing going shortly after the second meeting, the meeting with the city commissioners on the 22nd. We want this to be looked at as a resolution and for them to approve it. An application process will take place. Once that application process is completed, there will be a background check on those applicants that applied. And then once that vetting process is completed, the selection of those committee members will be as follows. Basically, each city commissioner will select one member, and the city manager, and then the chief of police will select the other 2. That's 7, and then the last 2 will be selected by that committee. So in kind of cutting it short, is that we think that this is going to be a very positive thing in our relationship with our community. And before I turn it over to Eric, I just want to say, everybody that's on here, I invite you to apply for that. We would love to have you on that committee. Eric, I'll turn it over to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chief. So welcome, everybody. Last year, I was able to welcome you from the beautiful historic Ritz Theater in downtown. Now I'm welcoming you from the virtual lobby of our Field House and Conference Center. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. There we go. Can everybody see that? All right, perfect. A little bit about growth and economic development in Winterhaven and in our county. We've been tracking through the Mlk Institute our rank nationally among metropolitan statistical areas. And as you can see, in a few short years, we have grown from 114th in the nation as far as economic strength and diversity to number 39 in the year 2020. This is a pretty remarkable growth. It just shows the strength of Polk County in what's called the Lakeland Winterhaven MSA. And Winterhaven really is driving a lot of that economic strength and diversity. And I'll show you why in the next few slides. If I can click forward, there we go. Over the last 10 years, the city of Winterhaven has grown 38.9%. That is really remarkable population growth. If we look a little deeper into that, we can see that in comparison, Lakeland has grown at about 12%, Polk County as a whole at about 18.8%, and Florida at almost 15%. What that represents is about 3.6 people moving to Winterhaven every single day, about 110 people every month. Whoop, I did not mean to click that. Let me go back. We have grown at greater than 4% population for 4 years in a row. We were at almost 5% in this last year. And I'll note that these numbers come from Bieber. These are the University of Florida Bieber estimates. So we're awaiting the 2020 census numbers. We are, if you just look at percent increase, we're the 20th fastest growing city in the state. Now there are some cities with small populations, like Buena Vista and some others that they would grow from 10 to 24 people, so they have a higher percentage increase. So when we break that down and we look at just cities with greater than 30,000 residents, we're the 6th fastest city, growing city in the state of Florida. Part of that is how many building permits we're issuing. In 2020, we issued exactly 1,000 single family residential permits within the city limits of Winterhaven. To my knowledge, that's the most we've ever done. And just a side note, we issued approximately between 160 and 200 more single family residential permits than our sister city, our larger sister city to the west did in the same time period. So how do we deal with some of that? Well, a good portion of that is we don't want to get it caught up in we're too busy, we can't be innovative, we can't grow. So software and automation is a big part of what we do here at the city of Winterhaven. And this is just a short list of some of the software systems and processes that we're putting in place. Some of them are already in place, some we're developing this year. This is one-stop shop permitting software. This is data and collection management. It's how we do billing and property management at the airport. We use Cartograph and Samsura to track work orders and manage our solid waste routes. We're developing See-Click-Fix, which is a public-facing software system where people can if they see a pothole or a sign that's broken, they can notify us and we can get that done quicker. This helps us to be faster, better, more efficient as a city and provide better customer service to our community. You don't have to be the biggest fish in the sea with the biggest teeth to move toward your vision and your goals. You just gotta have a lot of friends that will join with you in partnership and in doing what you would strive to do, in the city. And so those are our regional, state, and federal partners. This is DEO. This is the Florida Department of Transportation. This is DEP. This is Central Florida Regional Planning Council. These are these organizations that we work with on a daily basis that help us figure out how to manage growth, how to plan for transportation, how to be sensitive with our environmental areas. They help us with grant opportunities. We've been very, very, very diligent in pursuing grant opportunities in the city of Winterhaven to help us with that. These are our community partners. This is the Chamber of Commerce, who's hosting this event today. This is our economic development partners at the EDC. This is Main Street Winterhaven, our friends at Heart for Winterhaven, who are involved in the affordable housing arena with us. We have a number of community partners who just love Winterhaven and have partnered with the city to help us, tackle our big issues and our big problems of the day. And then obviously our private sector partners. We have so many private sector partners in the development world, in engineers and architects and planners and developers and entrepreneurs and people who just love Winterhaven and want to see it move forward in a very progressive, smart, innovative way that preserves our Winterhaven identity and our Winterhaven quality of life, but moves us forward, from an economic perspective. And finally, planning. We are engaging in a number of planning efforts to deal with our population growth and how we grow in the city. That includes transportation planning for all modes. This is multimodal. We're talking about, cars, we're talking about bikes, we're talking about pedestrians, growing the airport at the city of Winterhaven. How do we get people to and through Winterhaven in a very efficient and effective way? This is trails and all of those issues that we look at. Planning around water. As you know, we've been engaged in this One Water master planning effort, and how do we grow sustainably? How do we preserve our natural resources? How do we enhance our natural resources? How do we raise the economic value of the city of Winterhaven through these resources that we have? And how do we ensure that we have enough water for future growth, raise property values, and really just create a more positive quality of life than we already have here in the city of Winterhaven. And then visualization and land use planning. How can we develop the core of downtown and increase those values, and how do we redevelop certain areas of the community to maintain their character, maintain their quality, but increase the quality of life for all of our residents and visitors and citizens. And then finally, we just couldn't do it without the team. Just as Mr. Herr pointed out, a big shout out to our employees here at the city of Winterhaven. They're the ones that get up, every day and pursue excellence. And so we just want to say thank you to all of them and their efforts throughout 2020. They really had to redefine how they did everything, and they still got it done and did it done exceptionally. We grew faster in 2020 than I think we've done in any other year before, and it's due to their efforts. And so now I have the pleasure of sending it over to the hippest person I know, our Smart City Officer, Hiep Nguyen.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Hiep and I'm smart. What I meant was my name is Hiep Nguyen and I serve as the Smart City Officer. Winterhaven aspires to be a smart city, embracing innovation and the use of technology to operate more efficiently and to better serve the public. So as Eric has presented, we're a growing city and we want to embrace innovation to meet the challenges of the growth. So we're constantly trying to find new ways to do things so that we could punch above our weight. So a smart city is about connecting people. It's about connecting information and ideas, but it's also about connecting about common goals, aspirations, and dreams. We had a challenging 2020 with the COVID pandemic, but one thing that happened last year was it accelerated everybody's digital transformation efforts. So we find that we had to adapt and change to be able to go in and actually operate and survive. And so, for example, just last year, we had 1,820 meetings, actually 1,821, including today's, and over 500,000 meeting minutes, just looking at the information that we have. Smart cities are mean different things to different people. The types of smart city initiatives may vary and are pretty broad. So this slide here kind of shows the complexity of the different use cases that smart cities have adopted. And to simplify it, and for the city of Winterhaven, we kind of focus on some of the basics. Includes governance, security, infrastructure, and processes. So for governance, the City Commission created the Smart City Advisory Committee, who's our commission liaison is Tracy Mercer, Commissioner Mercer. And so we found that governance was important as a way to kind of help us guide community adoption, and to be able to make sure that wherever smart city initiatives to be pursued, that we include the community and their feedback. We have as part of that governance process, we have our new team, developing a new team of leaders within IT. So this is our team. We won the award from FLAGISA for our COVID response. So we're very, very proud of that. We're focused on security. So last year we actually have a dedicated person just focused on security. Obviously security is a growing concern for any IT shop. Sam here is our young new hire, and he's been instrumental in terms of creating an information security roadmap and also making that part of part of our city. Infrastructure is very key. For the last 17 years, we've been focusing on putting in fiber conduit as part concurrently with other projects such as utilities, transportation, recreation. By the end of this year, with the Dundee Road project being finished, we should have a northern ring around our city. And then in the next couple of years after the reuse project, that's going to connect the Chain of Lakes to the wastewater treatment plant, and also our efforts to kind of connect the new fire station on Thompson Nursery. We'll have 2 rings around the city of fiber conduit with fiber providing, with fiber accessibility being there. Primarily to be able to go in and connect our city facilities, but also be used to kind of lease out as part of our dark fiber enterprise. Also, big news is that we won a planning grant from that's managed by the DEO for disaster mitigation. So the planning grant is to help us be able to create a plan to connect governmental anchor institutions across the region. So the vision is to connect Sebring and Wauchula and Bartow to be able to go and create a regional ring to connect and be able to expand and provide broadband capabilities to governmental institutions. So it's a intergovernmental partnership that we envision. So very excited about that. And we're just starting out that planning process. One of the key things is in terms of the process is we adopted a blueprint to help generate ideas in terms of an innovation process. So it's what's called ideation process. So we formed smart idea teams to gather ideas and create what we refer to as an idea reservoir. And out of that idea reservoir, we create a vetting process to select the best ideas to be able to go in and pursue in terms of piloting, to experimentation, and finally for adoption from the city. This actual process is adopted from is created from a number of best practices from innovators in the private sector. So we're adopting this process to help us be able to engage our entire employee in terms of their ideas, to be able to go in and select the best ideas from good ideas. And we envision that to be something that we want to fold out to the community as well. And just very quickly, I just want to go over some notable projects that we are pursuing. So it's not an all-inclusive project, but a lot of these projects has adopted the use of the cloud in terms of rethinking our infrastructure, in terms of cloud computing. So for instance, we've adopted Zen City, which provides us proactive sentiment reading from our community through social media mining. It has proved an invaluable tool to help us be able to guide through and navigate through the pandemic, to figure out the issues that the community is the sentiment and the feedback. So it provides us a lot of great data information to be able to pursue actionable and be proactive in our governance. As Eric mentioned, we're looking at changing the way that we do zoning information, providing zoning information instead of current books, be able to provide it online, be able to search by parcel and view that information. It helps to make it easier for not only our staff, but also the public to be able to view that information for development. So for instance, visualization of corridors and be able to use that. Again, these are things that help us be able to do more than possible to be able to punch above our weight. Eric mentioned about a 311 app to be able to go in and be able to not only be able to report issues, but also track them from start to finish and getting that communication with the public. We're also adding in a text bot to be able to go in and have an actual a bot, artificial intelligence, to be able to respond and answer in a conversational way with our citizens, to be able to say, hey, I want to report a pothole, or I want to ask for more information. This chat bot will be able to be available 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to be able to answer citizens' requests and guide in. One area in the police side is the evidence tracking. It allows us to be able to reduce a lot of time in terms of officers having come into the station to be able to properly handle evidence. This allows us to be able to do that through the cell phones for every officer to be able to do that. So huge time saving and cost efficiency in terms of this product. And then also we're looking to deploy Big Belly smart Wi-Fi trash cans. These are smart trash cans that tell you when they're full. They self-compact to store 5 times as much capacity, helps us operationally, but also concurrently allows us to provide Wi-Fi access in the area that they're deployed. So we're deploying these in the Martin Luther King Boulevard, in an area that we know is really needs, really desires the connectivity. So we're looking to do this pilot project to see the connectivity, also the operational issues for us. So we're pretty excited about this project. And then one project that's kind of, we started with our virtual internship. So this came out of COVID and we were trying to figure out how do we get interns. So we created a digital twin project run by virtual interns to create a 3D model of Winterhaven in terms of the buildings. So we use the LiDAR data to convert these into 3D models that we could use for modeling and to be able to do projections and so forth. We currently have the existing software to be able to do this, but also tie it in to gaming engines. So with ESRI providing a gaming hook, we're able to take the information and put it into games. Now, what's the value of this is that then we could then be able to use virtual headsets to be able to visualize the data that we're viewing, visualize our city of Winterhaven, and then be able to engage budding developers or even connect with schools and students to be able to build games using our data. So imagine seeing utility lines or information that we're sensing to be able to see that in virtual reality or be part of the game. And so this is, for instance, to be able to visualize public investment and how that public investment will transfer into future increases in property values or prosperity in an area based on the investments we make. So this is an example of what other cities have done in terms of visualizing data and using it for making decisions. And also be able to simply operate. So we see tremendous value in the digital twin to be able to go in and help us be able to operate better, in this case with water management and operations. So we're very in tune with the One Water project with the utilities and also part of their thinking and trying to include new technologies to help us be able to manage water resources and how we run our water systems more effectively. And with that, I'm going to lead you to T. Michael Stavres in terms of talking about projects in the city.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the second floor of the Advent Health Center. I am going to just kind of fly through some capital investments real quick and try and be courteous to everyone's time. But I want you to know if you have a question on any of these projects or anything else that we have going on in the city, please feel free to reach out to us. You can find us on the website, all of our contact information. So first off, Lake Conine Treatment Wetland Project. This is a major project up on the State Road 544 Lucerne Park area. If you've driven that, you may have seen this area getting cleared out. This is just a recent shot from the field. We're about 60% complete on this. We'll be opening up this summer. That site, about a $3.4 million project with, as Eric said, lots of funding partners. We've also pursued some FERDAP grants and state dollars to help put some recreation into this area. This will be a tremendous investment in wetland restoration and recreation in the northeast part of Winterhaven. The South Lake Silver Complete Street project, this is now about 2 weeks into construction. That area is for the most part closed off. But this again is a partnership project that between us and the Florida Department of Transportation that got underway just this January. We expect to be complete around October of this year, hopefully a little sooner if we can fast track it. About a $1.2 million investment to create a complete street in that neck of the woods of downtown. We'll also be moving forward on phase 2 of Mlk Park, which is everything east of the amphitheater project that was just recently completed. Again, lots of funding contribution from the state through the FERDAP program, as well as the state appropriation. So thanks to our delegation for helping make that happen. This will all make this a better environment for our ski shows and the other events that we have taking place down on Lake Silver. The Completion date for this is expected to be early 2022. It is at about 60%, nearing final design right now. So we'll start seeing some dirt moving down there before too awful long. Winterhaven Recreation and Cultural Center, this is a rendering of what that facility is intended to look like, compliments of Strawn Trout Architects in Lakeland. We are presenting our design contract to the City Commission at their next meeting, February 8th. We'll be taking a construction manager at risk recommendation to them probably in March, once we get a chance to review all those bids, and expect to have this project completed in the fall of 2022. This is about a $5.5 million investment into an existing facility in the Northeast Winterhaven area. Will have a tremendous impact. It allows us to expand our library services into a branch library out there as well. Talmud Park, most people are familiar with Talmud Park, is a baseball and football facility for youth sports. We are just now getting ready to award that construction project to Whitehead Construction. It'll be a design build project, about a $2.5 million approximate investment into that site, which will be complete late summer of this year. So those kids will be actually playing on new facilities come fall of 2021. And then Fire Station 3, you may remember we broke ground on this about this time last year, maybe a little bit later than this, but that is on target, about 60% complete, remains on schedule. We expect that to be done and operational come May of this year. About a $3.6 million investment into our public safety. We'll also have a pocket park that will develop in phases out at that site. So watch for that to come online in the coming months and years as we follow through. We couldn't do any of this without an amazing City Commission, all the things that you've heard today. So Mayor Dancer, Mayor Pro Tem Birdsong, Commissioner Mercer, Commissioner Yates, Commissioner Powell, they capture the vision that this city has. They deliberate on that. They make great decisions that are well thought out. They help us prioritize where the investments need to be made. And I know I'm speaking on behalf of the entire city team when I extend thank you to them for their leadership and their guidance and support for all the things that we want to do. If you have questions on any of those projects or anything else that you see going on around Winterhaven, feel free to reach out to me at City Hall, and I would be happy to share information with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much to T and the entire city team and City Manager Herr for giving us a very thorough, and this scratches the surface on what all of the department directors are working on in our community. And we are just so blessed to have the city team that we do. So I'm going to turn it over to Carmen Rich with Bank of Central Florida to give us our closing comments.
Thank you so much, Katie. Thank you all for attending today's event. And thank you to our sponsors, Bank of Central Florida, 610 LLC, and Tampa Electric Company. This event has been recorded and will be viewable on YouTube in the coming days. If the team here at Bank of Central Florida can help you with any of your banking needs, please do not hesitate to let us know. We appreciate the support of our Winterhaven community. You guys have a great day.